Greetings, and welcome to this evening's stream. I am your host, Lilim Nightshade, and we're on Halloween Eve. Although nothing to the theme today, I am merely resuming my front mission first playthrough. Believe we've played about 4 maps in the game now, and we'll probably play a couple more tonight, as it seems I'm able to get through about a map an hour or so. But we will see how the progress goes, because often in these strategy RPGs, as the game gets later in, the maps get more complicated and take longer to complete. But this is still a very early game, so I do not expect them to be that difficult. One thing I do not think I mentioned was how stats work in this game and levels. Because you see each character has a level and experience, as you would expect. But there's also numbers next to their different attributes. The melee, short, long, and dodge. Those are also levels that affect their abilities to do those different things. Now, when you have a regular level up, all of your attributes get points added to it. But by performing certain actions, you can level them individually. So if you use melee attacks, it'll level your melee experience bar. If you use short-range weapons, the short, and the long-range weapons for the long. And I believe dodge can only be leveled by defending, which makes it the hardest one to level up, because typically you are not going to be defending a whole lot, at least unless you make a point to do so. What I've noticed is that a lot of times, if it's possible to counterattack, you have the option to counterattack instead, and in most cases it's beneficial to just do a counterattack and get more damage in to destroy the enemy unit faster. But that also means that you'll be less likely to dodge attacks, which could be bad in the long run. So I have to make a habit of dodging or defending more, so that I reach my dodge level, and then in the future, attacks are going to be less likely to hit me. I did not wake you. You woke up of your own volition. So let's see what this mission is all about. I believe I had to destroy 3 different anti-aircraft missiles, was what we looked at last time. If you wish. Because I suppose we're gonna bomb this site, which makes sense with it. There's not flyover and bombs. That's why they need to have the surface-to-air missiles taken out, so that they cannot stop our aircraft from bombing them. Pretty straightforward. And get an excuse for you to have a time limit. Though I do not recall them telling you what the time was. Sway is not currently streaming. Oh, that is unfortunate. 10 turns. So never mind what I said about dodging. I cannot employ that in this particular battle. because I have only 10 turns to complete the entire mission. So if I take my time and dodge attacks, I may not finish in time. I need to plow through the enemy and sort of blitz the objective. But next time I have a normal mission where the objective is just to defeat all enemies, or defeat a certain enemy, then I can use the defense tactic to raise my dodge level. Not a normal hiatus. Stray is waiting for Cersei to finish her game because there's some discussion about the potentially switching days. So it did not make sense to start a new game on a Tuesday if the game is going to be played on a Saturday in the long run. Greetings, Beyond. So, let me see how I need to divide my forces. Okay, that is one, Sam. Where are the other ones? It's the second one. So I was correct. It looks like there's only 3 here, and this one is hiding. And 2 of them are on this side of the screen. So I'll have to put the majority of my forces over here to blitz these 2. And I could probably deal with this one with just like 2 units, maybe 3 at most. But there's a commander here that I have to take out first. This is my favorite Halloween costume. I do not do Halloween costumes, although people have suggested that my normal attire fits the occasion anyway. You're going to be an ice cream man tomorrow? Shit, I do not want to move that one yet. You do work at the Museum of Ice Cream. That is true. But if that is the case, are you going to be getting candy or are you going to be getting ice cream? Ice cream with candy in it? And see, I will get the first attack. That is good. There is saying blood at the bar. Perhaps I should go then. It's not real blood. Blood is disappointing. If I go here, he is probably gonna stop my advance. Can I attack from this spot? Yes. Let's weaken him a little bit. I have no idea what you were talking about. This one has more missiles, but this one is more powerful. Let's take a chance to see if we can do more damage. Is the commander. Yeah, that was worth it. Maybe let's see what Paul can do. Although Paul is more of a long range expert. Maybe I do not wish to have him engage in melee. There we go, one down. That worked out very well. Paul likes pulling out. I am a bat demon. That is correct. The attack Murray is. Tiki though. Need to get closer to the destination. Do it this way. Not very accurate, though. You know, we'll have somebody else attack first. That one's not very good either. Yeah, figured that'd be a waste. You can go past him, that helps. This should at least land. Was winning the war. Missed every shot. In a lot of games, the main character tends to be very strong and perhaps even overpowered to an extent. This is not one of them. The main character is terrible in this game. Hoping for double to activate there. Quite enough to break his arm. You stay put. Is that Emmy going after my supply truck? I will try the guard strategy for now since these are not damaged yet. But I need to start counterattacking later in. That is terrible. Irene lost legs and an arm. So sort of useless right now. How does the supply work? Does he have to use... No? And I was supposed to be able to go to the supply truck to repair, but I do not recall the exact way that mechanic works. Can I attack from here? Yes, I can. In fact, I could attack from one back from there. No, a limited number of times. I'm gonna use this one. One more turn, that one will be done. So all the rest of my forces can go and concentrate on the two over on this side. Maybe this will help. Not a lot of damage though. I was hoping to take the 3 damage on that arm. That's not the case. That they counterattack just because his position is unfavorable. That one I can guard against. We used his shield to reduce damage. That did not really reduce much. Whatever that was, it did not work. I will counter this one just because he's so low. If I'm lucky, I can take him out. Not quite. destroy the neck, why don't you? Still not sure how this works. Ready to give something to the supply chain? And not understanding the supply mechanic. I remember you just go next to the truck and then use a menu command. That command does not seem to exist. Now I'm confused about that. I may have to look this up. I suppose you have to start your turn next to it? I see. So, well, it will not take effect until next turn. That means I should have moved the truck closer to it last turn. Ultimate repair as at least keeps him alive. Okay, one launcher down. How did the net kill? He was so low. Command unit is neutralized. Still reveal what this would could potentially do. We really have about 6 turns to do this too. Very well. This looks very dangerous. Ray took out my weapons. Frederick does no damage. Somehow annoying. She doesn't need ammo. Get slightly repaired. Get attacked from here. The safe thing is just to shoot and finish this one off finally. Agreed, you lost his long-range option. Never does double when I need it. A little concerned, actually. But repair. How do you fail to kill something at 5 HP? Wonder if the weapon I use is destroyed. They be using the other one, but I was not entirely certain that was necessary. Ninja guard. Which is blinded. Which is pretty bad for a melee character. Need you no damage scarred. Really out of time here. I need you to hit. And long reach ammo left. He needs to heal. I'm gonna have to take a risk and bring him out. With something hit. realistically, I only have about 3 turns to break this wall because it's in a couple of turns attacking them to finish them off. I may fail this mission. I've eaten a lap at the 1 HP. And if that can't fight back. I'm gonna go with the guard just because with flash might cause her to miss anyway. We'll open up our arms. But these shields do not actually work. Playing a little too close. I seem stuck in a stalemate with these enemies. If I just had to defeat them, this would be easy because I could just take them where I had time. But because of the time limit, I had to rush and overextend. And the enemies seem to be a little too difficult to take one-on-one. Especially when they miss every turn. It helped absolutely nothing. Nothing. It's the one's actually in the way. So we'll try hitting this. Yes, we did not hit it. Because it hit 1. He needs a resupply. Actually, never mind. We do not have time to resupply. He's gonna have to try use his short weapons. This not bad. He's in a bit of trouble. We move forward, but have her heal herself. How do they still have missiles left? We're pretty much out of my missiles. Of course, they both missed. Thanks for dishing these guys off. Fortunately, it's not possible for a double now that she's missing her arm. Nice little attack, and so I can fight back. Simply do not have a time for this. No attacks of meaning I can do. Fortunately, he was not the one in the way, so finishing him off means nothing. I should have moved her up to the... was probably my mistake. There we go. Now I need to somehow get this one out of the way too, so I could even have access to missile. Then go with the less accurate attack because there's more damage, and just hope that for once something. Of course, it did not. Or am I not supposed? Like what is? There's no chance we win that. There are any kind of long range weaponry. These could block the corridor on us. Fast hurry. I feel like this will matter. Didn't know you could double if you missed. Interesting to know for in the future. But I didn't have the turns to resupply and attack. There is one he can use. Not sure why I'm crying at this point. Because even if I were to defeat this enemy, nobody can reach the supply trucks now. If everyone that's close already used their turn. I guess we'll see what happens when you fail a mission. Because this is an obvious fail. Because my characters cannot hit anything. Your struggles involve never hitting a single attack. Because that's where I am at right now. Finally got rid of that one. But they said I cannot reach the actual goal, so it matters not. You take game over for that? Oddly, no. Even by list of objectives, what are the objectives now at this point? That we failed the mission. Then 4 more turns. It's like 3 on the right side were too many, but that's just how they were positioned. There's not much I could do about that. Okay, this is under control, so even though there's a spot here, I still cannot go past. Making this more obnoxious. If somehow this one can go through. What can consisting? Not that it matters. Could he actually completely ignore him? Maybe just a little bit of help. Think you're going. Mission complete despite mission being... It was never see that before. So in the original, I actually completed the mission. But then again, I was not playing on harder difficulty, so that might be why. The new base. It's interesting we got threw him right into another battle. Well, if you keep stopping to talk, you're gonna get blown up. How much of see before I went into here? Interesting second deploy 9 by Land Thieves. Am I missing a character? And didn't get briefed for this mission, which is strange. Usually you're supposed to return to town to get a briefing, and they did not give me the opportunity to do that this time. Well, since they want to bait me into something, I think I will not do that. Like, go after these people who are supposed to attack us post-beat. And throughout the game is gonna tell me what the opponent's plans are. Might as well take advantage. If possible. I feel like I'm not meant to do this battle. He's already gonna die on turn 1. There is a lot of them needs artwork, and all of them are stronger than my units. It's a problem. I do not remember this mission in the original game. That's the strange part. This is completely foreign to me. An attack from over the fence? Cannot. That do so little damage compared to what they did to me. Her going that way was a mistake. It's too much health, too. They do not need to surround me. They sort of win just by attacking me at range. I can fully gang up on one and still potentially lose. In retreat into repair. Just no one else. Or being a melee bow is a problem. Wait, who's this? Ninger Kib's attacked. Not feeling very confident about this. Oddly, he's lower level than her. His mech just must be that good. But didn't work damage. Yeah, we'll risk to make a counterattack. Cliff was the right move. There's more from now. These ones are not as tough. They could still break her arm. If I'm unlucky with the randomness of where they attack. Somehow her arm did survive. I also did not restock my items because I didn't plan on this encounter. Returning to base between fights is very critical. Making a dent. If it was just one of these special enemies, I might be okay. But since there's 4, this can be quite the challenge. I made a bad move with Natalie to begin the match, so she's sort of out of the battle, which gave me 1 less unit to use. I'm gonna use up all my missiles just trying to chip away at him. One of them hit. And that goes her arm. Which I anticipated. But I'm glad she was able to do some damage before that happened. Could I hit the body with that shot, apparently? Not a good start there. He wasted his turn, luckily. Good, doing great work. More of the generics are joining the battle, which is not good. Being ambushed here. Maybe we should have stayed up there after all. Worth it. He can no longer fight back. probably a good time for her to retreat. Some do not need a repair S. This would be a lot easier if I had the skill to aim where to target. But I'm not high enough level for that yet. This one only. Lucky dodge there. I'm not worried about what these. Well, one actually did decent damage to legs, but for the most part, I'm not worried about those ones. Both his arms. Rising that hit. Why could them not hit more in the time mission? That did a lot more damage than I was anticipating. Can't be we're taking all those on at the same time. Should've not a choice though. So if I get lucky on this. With the worst result. Expected it to miss because of the smoke. That's why I did the least dangerous attack. Targeting an enemy that could not counter. Okay. Why? It's neutralized as a Alright, got rid of one of them. Do not believe I was given an objective for this. I'm not entirely certain my goal. She was this. Yeah, have him retreat a little bit to heal. I'm missing you have full rotation. That should be to do it. Even with his terrible damage output, he can do 3. Or he can miss every single attack. That's one of these she can do. They must waste it entirely. Has not doing 3 body shots there. Just to somehow survive this. Okay, she can flee next turn. Or maybe not. Next button, move forward. She's still in good condition. Having lost one arm. Better than expected. Try this again. Did that hit the body? Like running out of places to do damage. An army lost unfortunate is the one that has a weapon. Actually, let's restart it. Birdie be next. You miss arc. Will affect his movement, but not a big deal. Everyone will need to resupply before I go after the other important enemy. The best feeling in this game is having an enemy attack you, but you shoot first and destroy them before they can even hit. This print is fairly weak. And I forget if double can activate on a counterattack. But to finally finish off. Better? not sure when I did that close. Long range attack. Not sure I'm a fan of her being this out in the open. She missed both. She punched 3 times in a row and missed every single one of them. So much for skill activations. I should have just had a retreat. Now she probably will die as a result. Guard. Okay, she takes no damage from them if she guards. So that seems to be the safe way. The Nissos will still damage her, but if they punch her, she is fine. This one, I'm not sure how this will work. 2 damage is not very much. I need this power rate changer equipment too. Oh, that was a mistake. That wasted her turn. I wanted her to resupply, but I went to see what the items menu was. You cannot undo that. Even though I did absolutely nothing, it still counted as the turn. Which I'm not happy about. Flamethrower weapon is interesting, but the fact that it's a single hit sometimes makes it not as effective as Assume she did not take much damage last turn. Maybe she should just stay here and distract them. See if she can actually hit this one. She cannot. Going nowhere. She's gaining great dodge experience from this, though. Which is good if she's gonna be a melee fighter, she needs to be able to dodge. Hopefully she'll exhaust all this guy's missiles. One easy, yeah. None. Okay, perfect. Is exactly what I wanted. Here we go. Need a psycho resupply. We shall be fine. About time she gets a good hit in. She's still need to get a bit ahead in levels due to them being used so much with holding your attention. that might be for the best for a support character. Not support character, melee character, I mean. These are high level as a major contribute to the fact that she's not taking any damage when they're attacking her. Easier than I expected. So now we have these ones over there. But also, I believe they were supposed to ambush me potentially. So I think what I'm gonna do is go all the way over to this side and see if I can snipe. Because most of us should have equipment. She doesn't have anything but her fist. They keep the supply truck near the injured ones, since they get a little bit of health each turn at the end next to it. And she gets used. As far as I know, they will not move. If I go up the center, I assume that it'll trigger these ones to move preemptively. Whereas if I move to this side, I should take them on by themselves. Just like I did on the right side. I hope at least. It meets a reason. Does he? Technically, he does this with Rel. We're about that later. And it's try to bring up the and then at least, you know, reload their ammo. Never mind. Can I birth him out? A 4K pull. Look for a Uria's 6-tail. You might have to do with what's in the way. Luckily, looks like he is a melee only. But his friend over here are also melee. Then I'm guessing these are the two short ones. Okay, so I end up fighting the hardest ones first since they were the missilers. I can probably cheese out the melee and short range ones a bit better. Just to stay out of this range. Unless I'm attacking. It doesn't appear as though I can attack from this area. I'll have to wait until he comes to me, I believe. That's fine. That allows me to bring more units closer. It minimizes the odds of one being ganged up on. I mean, jump the fan session. Yes, I can attack. Receiving more evasive being melee unit. I think the long range have the worst. I'm surprised you could not hit from there. It's an elevation issue. Did not think that came into play with Metcon. I could move her in to punch. So a little worried that his punch is gonna be a bit too much. The F3 hand rod, I think, is gonna be way more damaging than what she can do. So I'd really not risk the counterattack there. Piri is safe there. Let's see what Dinmi does. I'm gonna play it safe and guard. Cunningness is good. This gives me free license to attack him some more. This might not be the most exciting way to see a battle play. But it is safe. You've been doing that a lot lately. If it works. There is no need to take unnecessary risks. I did very little damage. I guess those are weak missile launchers, though. Okay, that helps. Okay, this time I think I'm gonna move Meihua in. The thin only having one arm, this feels a lot safer. Especially if she doubles on it and breaks the other arm. We'll execute it. Fact. This is so safe now that I can have my useless supply truck come in and attack. There's no threat of repercussion. Harvey doesn't take damage, but he gets some experience. Because despite not being a real combat unit, he still does have experience, which can affect his dodge, so it'll be more likely to survive. If I do want to shoot something in a short skill, I think he can learn maybe one skill out of the short branch. In the parallel way. Who's the low love? JJ. I'm gonna go ahead and think when else attack that one. I want JJ to farm experience off of it. I know eventually your enemy units will have supply trucks as well. So one strategy, once that happens, is to intentionally try to break as many of their parts as possible, especially their arms so they cannot attack. Then the AI believes programmed to have them flee to the supply truck and repair, and then you go and just hit them again and keep breaking their arms over and over to form experience. And you get experience for every part you damage, or I should say, every part you fully break. He's done a great many battles turtling up in a corner and letting them come to you one at a time as you bombard them with every unit. Ah yes, Fire Emblem strategy. We have done that many of them. did 1 damage. We get out of the attack range. I do not want to let the opponent have the initiative. It's a nice safe spot. This you can do skill up here, I think. Have Pumi shoot in my desk. Hey, what levels? Yeah, I'll do it. Since JJ could not do the job, the supply truck will do it. And you got a lot out of it. Technically, he was the lowest level anyway. The nerve, I want more. Yeah, this is safe. Actually, if he stays here... No, I might get blocked in. I'll go this way. Or he came right to the firing gallery. Nice miss setup. The spots where I can attack. This works. Yeah, and these ones are definitely easier to fight than the Mistlers. Just because they cannot do anything that's right in your face. And see how dangerous he is. Not too much. Wait, still get past. I'm gonna see you as supply truck just in case. Word? was hoping he would do more than that. Sometimes they want to hit everything but the body. And was he out of knees, out of ammo? And so is she, apparently. I'll need to begin resupplying next term. Let's say the next couple of turns. Who still has ammunition? Regret to be no one. And Ray does. Hey. This the last chip. He's still good to go. I forgot his legs were broke. That's why he's not moving anywhere. They still not reach anybody, so this is fine. My position pretty much perfect at the. I just need to get all my units close together so they can bombard the enemy at once. I feel like she has no more perps. Since Minas do not want to go against short units. Probably should have Natalie be when they engaged in melee. Or not melee, but short range. Since her orange attack is pretty poor. What the strongest weapon in the world? No, I believe it does hit multiple times. Does it show that on Ness? Gorgeous in case. Oh, it's just one hit. Not bad at all then. It's interesting mission since it starts out a lot harder and then gets a lot easier as it goes. Very strange difficulty curve. Well, he certainly cannot run now. And she broke his leg. And then I'd take that chance. I'll put her next to him. and have her heal herself. Just so she does not get taken out in one hit. After him anyway. That worked well enough. Yes, let's go back to town so I can save and actually restock. Still strange there was no story introduction to that mission. It was just on the map. It said, go here. I went there. And he's got thrown into a battle all of a sudden. In the city? I suppose we don't get to save or do anything. I thought usually going to a town was safe, but it seems like they threw me directly into a battle in the city. Well, this could be bad. I do remember this battle. And I do remember the Clinton unit. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I do remember that it was a very dangerous mech. Guess we must continue. Still strange that I have 9 units I can deploy, but only 8 that I have in my total party. It continuously makes me feel like I'm missing something. And where are the actual enemies? City maps are always difficult because they're mazes. Also, what is the objective? I can save here. Maybe want to do that. Just in case. Now, he doesn't have parts. It's just one very tanky body with one probably really strong weapon. Odd that he has the switch skill, since switch usually requires 2 weapons. I'm not sure what to do with that. there anything else hiding this way? Yes, there are. Some nistlers. Not let them chase me, though. Might need to place more top-down, just because of the buildings. Can I zoom? That's as far out as you can zoom. I am concerned about hidden enemies. A little easier in 3D since you can rotate the camera and potentially see them. Forget how this worked in the Super Nintendo version. But it had a different viewing angle in the first place where that might have mitigated the possibility of enemies hiding behind buildings. And the building probably did not take up as much space. There were probably smaller graphics. But I have my supply truck this time. But our cool moving Pee-wee. Maybe just as well as I suspect. It'd be hard to keep him out of danger. But that does mean that I have limited ammo this time. I cannot do my restock trick. Definitely not the best of news. Attack, I think, from there. And if then a miss. I do have the supply truck. Must have just missed it. Could cheat to some things. I can go all out aim missiles. It says things are harder to hit at night. Certainly gonna need that. There doesn't appear to be anything in this direction. Well, I guess there's a mech there. I don't want to go too far down that street. I also do not want to go somewhere the enemy can get to him. Is there a good compromise? Am I being attacked by? Not just the one down here. Grinding on a ton is paying off. I'm definitely leveling that stat. I had to flee. Are they baiting me? Soften up the commander first. This should be good enough for Natalie to go in. I hope this is not a map where you have to defeat all enemies. Because if that was the case, I'm gonna have to circle back because those enemies from behind are not chasing me. It may have been better to deal with them first. Where did the commander go? He just ran away. Oh, maybe he has supply trucks. He's ranked 1 because he's low. And I see any on the map. There has to be some logical reason for him to flee. They banned him. Better not do that, though. He's a little bit short. Greetings, Captain Dizzle. And thank you for the raid. Much appreciated. If you are not already following Dizzle, you should do so now. Also appreciate the full year of subscription. Yes, this is a mech tactics game. If I'm not mistaken, this was the first strategy RPG that Squaresoft ever made. Which is interesting that they did one that's so different than the norm. You would think their first would be something that is more standard. Like Final Fantasy Tactics feels more like what you would think they would do first before experimenting with unconventional games. But this came well before it, I believe. Considering that was a PlayStation 1 game and this is a Super Nintendo game. Well, originally it was a Super Nintendo game. Obviously, I'm not playing the Super Nintendo version. I'm playing the modern remake. Definitely need to guard that. He's getting low. Yeah, did not do that much damage. But I'd rather not take the full brunt of it. Like how this game had a similar start to Tactics Ogre, SNES game that was ported to the PlayStation 1, and now both are available on PC, except this is 3D. And Tactics Ogre Reborn is not. I was not aware this is ported to the PlayStation 1. I thought it was only ported to the Nintendo DS. And thus far, I am winning. I basically began where it was a battle, or a sequence of 3 straight battles without any chance to rest or restock, and this is the third one so far. I was able to win the first two, even though I technically failed the objective for the first one. It still progressed me. It is put to PlayStation 1 first, DS later, which again, TO did similar but PSP instead of DS. Interesting. Though apparently this also received a WonderSwan port, which is interesting. Perhaps Bandai just tried to push certain companies into developing games for the system. I do wonder if part of the reason why the WonderSwan ultimately failed is because it was Japan exclusive, though. I wonder what would happen if they released it in the US and made so that companies can make English versions of the games on it. You did not know WonderSwan was Bandai? I see. Yeah, that was one thing that we do remember about it. Practically the only thing we remember about it was a Bandai console. Well, handheld, I should say. It was around that time where everyone was trying to make their own handheld system. Because Bandai had the WonderSwan, SNK had the Neo Geo Pocket. Atari had the Lynx, although that was older. They even... NEC had the Turbo Express. I think I'm missing some random handheld systems that were out at the time. Hopefully I'm not overextending with this attack. Hey, that helped. Got rid of his main weapon. Frederick, if you could hit enemies more, that would be helpful. Getting way too much experience. She's the highest level and is not even close. Okay, they do have supply trucks, so they're going to heal. I'll have to do something about that. And actually, he can just reach this one. Can you finish it off? No, but he can know he's damaged the other arm. That helped. And he'll go that way yet. That is too dangerous of a move. If she called me at her side, it seems safer. Coming back? Almost destroyed him. A good sign. Chaos have JJ retreat and heal. Good thing I stocked so many repair items on them. But he's defenseless. I should chase down this enemy and not let him get away. They couldn't attack the supply truck. I tried. I'm gonna make him flee again from Lucky. And if not, this will. Or just destroy him at E to Z. That's even better. I think you're trying to do a smoke bomb. Somebody needs a perpetrator to pinch me from behind. Let's make this arranged. The person's just like the tad that supplied Shrek instead. And then let Grayson JJ go after this one. He is healing every turn, just staying there. It appears we have another raid, this one from Mako. Another streamer very much worth following, if you are not already. Ghost Town Pumpkin Festival. Do not know what that is. I was gonna ask if you had fun playing what I referred to as autistic souls. Calling the game that you were playing earlier in your stream. He is out of ammo, so he needs to resupply. Puzzles and mazes with pumpkins. Interesting. What is the spider's range? And spider the claim. I'd rather not get into his movement range until I'm ready to actually take it on. So that is safe. He can't come past his ally here. Could we just finish this one off? We get more experience if we let them resupply. So I'm gonna go after this one instead. Will not attack yet. Let me see something if he has range weapons still. I probably should be counterattacking at this point. Whilst I'm doing that, because they're not gonna get any closer, I'll have her retreat to repair her arm. And he needs to repair his legs. I suppose he can hit from here. You wait. It's a cry. Actually. Slowly destroying that chariot. And that one is down. This is an opportunity. Oh, it can shoot, that's right. It's not a missile launcher, it's an actual truck. Greetings. This is one you remember trying to play once? I would not be surprised, as if I'm not mistaken, you try to play a lot of old SNES RPGs, especially ones by Squaresoft. So that does seem like something that you would have probably tried at one point. Also, thank you for the resub. Who's attacking me? The carrier's attacking me. Barely translated. I thought this was originally localized. I know I played it in English, but I thought it was official. I did not think it was a fan translation. But I do not recall for certain. It was a long time ago, so it could have been a fan translation. But I was almost certain that it was officially released in English. We can finish off this supply truck. Good. And I destroyed 100 enemies, so I got an achievement for that apparently. It might have been, but you only found the patch fan translation. It'd be odd for it to be a fan translation if it had an official English release. Fans don't normally translate things that are already translated. Except for many, many years later if they have issues with the official translation. There are some rare cases of that. Like there is a fan retranslation of the original Chrono Trigger to be closer to what the original Japanese was according to some fans. There are some games where the original translation is maybe not the best. That is true. But if there is an official translation at all, typically it's less priority to translate than ones that were never in English. So those do not usually come that early. Also, usually the Square games were at least decently translated. That is true. A lot of localizations, especially early on, had one person involved in it. From pull back and resupply. Well, apparently the Clinton is no longer waiting. I suppose we have to take the fight to it now. That was a mistake on your part. course, I do not have aim at best long-range attackers here. I guess during the ad, I will figure out what strategy I want to employ. And then take the actual attack to the boss afterward. Guess I just try to move as many of these units into position as possible. Of course, she's got at least one unit blocking in that unit's path. This will be the final ad break of the stream, since we do need to retire for the night so that we can go to work tomorrow. As soon as I am able to finish this battle and return to town. You're going to move somewhere. Actually, how far can you go? And it's fine. One space is sufficient. I'll just do the attack once the ad is over, so no one misses it. Though considering that both Mako and Dizzle finished their streams already, I may not have anyone to raid when I finish my stream. At any rate, let's see how much damage we can do to this special unit. I cannot remember if defeating this unit ends the battle or do I have to defeat every unit. Hopefully it's just this one, but even if not, this is the most difficult one, so if I get this out of the way, the rest are just cleanup. Go with the Gigret. No shortcuts here. I see. I suppose you were having that much fun. Karen did not fight in melee yet, especially not with her. He could use a heal. Probably find it out here. Never mind. Did I forget to resupply with her? Oh, she's a minimum rage of 3. So I can go back here and do it. I see. Hopefully you accomplished your goal. They used the weaker one just because it's 2 hits instead of 1. And they both missed. The reason why I used the one that has 2 attacks is I figured if one misses, there was another chance for the second one to hit. And neither one of them connected. Pretty much invalidating my entire plan. I need to start with the range attack first. Play it safe. Cause he has a lot of the health. And in fact, we're gonna have a repair small to combine more when I finally get a chance to shop. With Gargs, I have no idea what this does. That is a lot of damage. He broke both arms in one attack. That is not good. And they're closing in on us. Luigi cannot fight back at all. So engaging this thing in short range or melee seems suicidal. This I have quickly discovered. We do have it down to about half health. We have guide. This is good. Not useful for the boss, mind you, but very useful for anything else. I'll worry about that get it later. Who's for health status? Oh yeah, her weapons are low. Or rather, her arms are. So I would not want to engage in melee right now. I have to attack from a range. Main character's health looks good though. Since this enemy's in the way, we'll have to take him out first. Interesting, it fled. That may be good for me, because now I can chase it down with my ranged attacks and not deal with its attack. So it'd be somewhat of a risk. Well, he still has one gun left. And there's some good hits. So guy is the first of the aiming one where we can target any part we want. One thing you could also do, if you target a part that's already damaged, it will just automatically miss. Which is another weird experience farming strategy, I suppose. Because you get experience just for doing the action. So if you break both arms, so that the enemy cannot attack anymore, so you just keep spamming misses, but that seems a bit silly. Good hit. I'm actually gonna risk going into melee with this. Because he's so low. I wanna see what my nail fire can do. Ain't not bad. He's also still fleeing, which helps. I should probably go and protect that supply truck. First thing I'm gonna do is use pole here. And I'll attack this arm since that's the one with the weapon. Still might not hit. Wish she can't do anything from that position. Did a bit more damage than I wanted him to. Guessing why his sight isn't there? She's out of ammo. Still hanging on. Uh-oh. Is that game over? There's a game over. Wow. He had 11 health left. And they just game overed me there. Just because the boss had a lucky hit on the body. I was basically one hit away from finishing the battle. Yeah, basically the lesson for this game is never use the main character, he's terrible. And obviously if he dies it's a game over. And he cannot even be... You can't even risk having him ever attack any enemy, because they can just destroy him with the right... And he's very weak. He's just a very bad character. Yeah, he pretty much is Ellie. I'm getting that impression here. His stats are poor. And he dies too easily. That is true. And heck, if you play like the Skya, for example, death is meaningless. They just get revived afterwards. The only way you can game over is if every character falls. But I feel like most strategy RPGs are like that, where the main character death is not a thing. You lose if every character is defeated. You're also not required to deploy the main character, that is true. But at any rate, I'll have to end the stream here. Even up try to throw me back in the battle. I'm not doing this battle again. I don't have the time for it. So I'll just have to beat it off stream or something, and then we'll go to the next map next week. But you saw 90% of what that battle was like, so that is gonna have to be good enough. Unfortunately, you'll miss the cutscene that comes afterwards, assuming there is even a cutscene afterward. But I suppose you'll have to look that one up elsewhere if you're curious what happens after we clear the map. But next week we will begin with the next mission. So you can return to this channel Thursday for that stream. And if you come back on Saturday, you'll see Cersei playing Trials to Azure. And as I said before, I do not believe anyone is still streaming that I know of. Other than Rattlet Row cannot be rated, so that does not help. Suppose I would just end the stream without a raid this time. Somewhat common occurrence. Not at any rate, tune in next week if you want to see more front mission.